Okay, so we have hit the season 1 finale of Euphoria. I am very conflicted about this finale in general, but there's a lot of pros to it. The thing about this finale is it does a good job at giving a lot of our main characters a little bit of screen time, and I think the better half of this episode actually was the first half. I think that I like how they had the girls sitting at the table at the winter formal. They were kind of touching base and wrapping up some stories, which would be Cassie's story with having this abortion and going through with it. I thought it was really well done scene, an important scene in a show like this, and to show the strength of the show, touching stuff that's very relevant and a lot of people can relate to now. It's so with the times, this show. I like that the mom was supportive, her sister was there, and I also like they made a point of it that McKay wasn't there. This felt very realistic of a scene, and like the cinematographer always does in this show, they're really good at keeping a consistent tone to what the scene is trying to portray to you and get your headspace in. They do it here at Cassie, where the whole time she's in the hospital room, she's got that panic starts to kick in, anxiety about what she's doing, fear, guilt, all of that. It's just shown through her whole environment. Even when she's looking at the doctors, is all just out of focus and blurry. They do that really well. And then you see here in states, where you see a lot in the show with Rue, it's like a dreamlike state, and they do that so well. Even in the winter formal, they're connected with that, with all the lighting they're doing, the music. That is what this show is. Now, the problem sometimes with that is you can get a little too much with it, and I think this doesn't have to do with the cinematographer. This has to do with actually the direction here, which was that whole music video at the end was a little just too long. I think it was overdoing the artsy part of this show, which again is the strength of this show, but for a finale, you kind of always feel a little shorthanded when you end it that way, I feel like, in any show, because you're kind of looking to get a big plot moment, something for all the time you've put in, and that kind of gets you excited about the following season. However, this show, it's their first season, and they didn't know yet that they were going to be renewed when this was filmed. So they're probably also kind of doing a safe thing just in case this was going to be a one-season show and a one-off, and, you know, because it had something of uncertainty there in it. It wasn't that confident of an ending. And I just feel like, yeah, it was effective having Rue think about all the trauma she's been through, walking back home, and then she relapses, right? But it just having that long montage of her thinking about the trauma she's been through, and then a long just music thing, and the lip syncing, I don't think that was necessary. I think that was a little over the top and corny, and the show can have faults in that a little bit. But I think, again, because it's season 1, it will find its true tone in next season, and how much of a great response it got and an audience build up, and, you know, kind of look at back what they made and what works and what doesn't, and work hopefully towards what works. Now, how many times you heard someone say what works that many times in a sentence? I just said works like 6 times in a row. I am delusionally tired. Stay with me here. But my point is that I think that it was really good, this episode, in the theme about mothers with their daughters and just raising a daughter, and going through, even from the mom's perspective in her speech here, about seeing a girl from the age of 1 and then her go to high school, and, you know, adulthood's on the way, and the world just gets just worse and worse for them, and you know this, and there's things you can't control about it, but you're hoping for the best. I thought that worked well. I thought the theme of just that family connection there, and her showing in the montage how messed up her mom even was to her, but there's always that root there where you still love each other, and that's why she chose also not to go with Jules, because I think that was a growing step for Rue, but because Jules has become her drug in a way, and she resisted that temptation. She just run away from everything, and just like running away to drugs, but unfortunately she goes to the ladder and runs with drugs because she's so heartbroken about Jules, and then she wasn't even ready, because she's kind of built up two addictions, which is Jules and the drugs. And I feel like that when she relapsed, it was a result of, oh my God, I'm not ready to be on my own and sober. I need Jules. And that's the problem. And that's a good setup for next season, where, okay, this is her first big relapse we're getting a connection to and understanding fully in this show's timeline. And you think, okay, if Rue's going to stay sober, she's got to be able to do that, but not having something else be dependent on, which was Jules. So a result of her not going for that type of drug is that she fell totally and was heartbroken and went back to the drug, which I figured was going to happen in this season. They kind of set that up from episode 1 that was going to be the storyline here, and it's very accurate, obviously, of an addict, and that they go back and forth, especially at that age. I think that Maddie's story, again, was strong here in this episode. I think that Kat flipping to Ethan, was a little rushed, but again, might be a result of them thinking this might only be one season. I thought her flip there and apologizing to him was just kind of forced in. It was fast. And maybe could have worked up to that a little bit more. But I'm happy to see it happen, I guess. I'm hoping that next season they're going to tap more into Lexi and the younger sisters here, including Rue's younger sister. I think there's a lot of character story there that we kind of want to know about from their perspective. I think will be good because Lexi is a very popular character and becoming a fan favorite fast. And Nate. So Nate's the big villain here. And I thought the actor of Nate was just brilliant in the scene with his dad just causing him to freak out even more, and all that psychotic rage coming out. It was just terrifying, and he did such a good job. And shout out to the director here, because they went back to this theme of his dad, and his dad thinking, all this stuff I've done with all these videos and him finding, how's that going to affect my kids? There was a whole narration about that in an earlier episode. And when the dad goes in the room and he hears his son screaming after this whole freak out and he's hitting him, the camera directly pans down to the drawer with all his hidden secrets in it. And it just shows you again, is this the result of this drawer, his behavior in there? It made Nate this crazy man who he is. Very interesting. So really sharp move there by the director. I appreciate anything like that. But the Nate Maddie thing, she's dumping him on the dance floor. They're doing the whole jealousy thing. I feel disappointed in the sense that I don't know how much longer they can keep going with this Nate story, because he's very extreme and I don't want it to get overplayed and tiresome. Even the Maddie him love story I think's the least, I don't want to say interesting, but it's so just back and forth. She's gonna fall for this guy who's a piece of crap to her, and it keeps going back and then leaving and going back. It's happened a lot already in one season. I think it's got to pull back even on the screen time with Nate and Maddie in particular, because I think they actually get too much, because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on around them as well. I like that Rue got her 2 cents into Nate, and what makes it work so well is because Rue's got nothing to lose here, and that's what makes her powerful towards Nate, because he feeds off what anyone has to lose, period. So she makes that clear to him. I like that. And then he's got dirt too. I'm sure the fans are pissed though, because you wanted more resolve with the Nate thing, and I just hope they don't make Nate the full, bad focus all of season 2, and that they kind of can shift gears a bit too to other possible conflicts and stories. But this episode also is kind of giving you more character, in-depth study here on Jules. I mean, Jules is complicated, and the way she was towards Rue here wasn't great. She's already in love with Anna. Just met this girl. She's telling Rue about it, and not the best way, and you feel bad for Rue, and she's trying to make Rue this episode like Anna, and wants her to kiss her aggressively, wants her to dress more hip. Great humorous line, though, by the way, where they said she dresses like Seth Rogen. I thought that was hysterical. But that's what this episode's about with her. She's making Rue who she wants her to be, and I'm happy they had Rue address that line to her too. You're trying to make me the parts you don't like, the stuff you like, and that's always unhealthy, but it's realistic, because again, we're dealing with teenagers here. This is stuff everyone goes through, and that's why too, I'm conflicted about the running away thing because it kind of just came up out of nowhere, and then it's like people always talk about that stuff, and then it just happens, and it kind of was their, okay, let's use this quick trick to have a reason for Rue to have a big moment and relapse. Where I don't know if I totally bought Jules just going on that train to nowhere. I mean, I think at that moment she should have just came off the train with Rue, but it doesn't fit where the story wanted to go. I get that, but it all kind of felt like, would this really happen that they would go there? And then, okay, Rue's making sense now because, again, she's the more sober one too. You got to remember, because Rue, when she was on drugs, would have jumped on that train completely, but she's thinking more now. She's got more of a conscience going on, and I don't know. I just felt Jules staying on that train was odd. I just thought, I was like, okay, where does she go now? Like, and how are they going to address that in season 2? Is the dad just going to be freaking out, calling, where's his daughter? I don't know. It was weird, but we'll see. And the whole Fez thing, I thought it sucks we didn't get to see what happened with him and that scary face tattoo man and Mouse. But it doesn't look good. He's got blood on the money there, and Mouse knows about the raid, so he doesn't want to get found out for anything he's doing, so he's going to want to get rid of Fez. So it just sucks we didn't get, that was a cliffhanger. And yeah, maybe it leaves more interesting things to look forward to, so I get it. So I don't know, but I did want a little more there. And yeah, I thought overall it was a strong finale, but it was a little safe and way over the top with that music video part, Dan. I wasn't digging it. I just thought it chose to be, actually too artsy that it hurts the story or the feeling that we could have got built up in the episode from the writing. But that's my take on it. Maybe you have a completely different thought about it. I think that season 1 for this show, Zendaya should be nominated for acting awards here. She was so good. So good. And the actress of Jules, really, really good. Hunter Schafer. I can't say enough about that. And Nate, because he really just is that guy we've all met in high school before. He plays it perfectly. And I think that season 1 of this show is decent out of shows I've watched. I think it's deserving of a B, 8.5, right? I think that what's special about this show, though, from the actors and actresses they have, from the cinematography and the pretty good writing, I would say that this is a show, if you're betting on what show is going to get really, really good, it's this type of show. I think having strong characters, again, having a set vision, I think that, and it's timely too, it's with the times. I think its ceiling is very high. I think season 2 could be really, really good. I think that we just have to kind of look at season 1 as like it's its base. And this is almost like, not a test run, but a rough draft. And I think there's something really good inside of all this that's going to come out, hopefully. So I'm very excited for season 2 in that sense. But I'm going to give this finale as a standalone episode 8.7, I think is fair. I thought I might be here sitting saying 9.5 because I guess last week's episode was so good. Again, season as a whole, the carnival episode was the best, and then last week's, and then I'd say this week was third. So overall, good. So let me know what you thought of it down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment and try to respond to as many as I can. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I do interviews with the actors and actresses themselves. I review Handmaid's Tale. I have a bunch of stuff coming up to review this summer, so you don't want to miss any of that. I appreciate all the support I can get. And please follow me at SteveVarley1 on Twitter and Instagram for more of me. And I'll see you next time.